Thanks for tuning in. We're going to um, dye some paper with some beetroot powder today, but I'm finishing off some blueberry first. So that gives you a minute to come in and get comfortable. I'm setting up my other device so we can have a two-way conversation, but it's being really slow today. How are you doing? One moment. I think Whatnot's laughing at me right now. Doing well. I'm happy to get to hang out with you guys for a little while today. I won't be going live tomorrow, doing a show tomorrow, I mean. Yes, blueberries. You said cookies. I love cookies. Sorry for the delay. I had to get my other device set up and it took a minute. So I'm finishing off some blueberry dye now, and then I'm going to make some of the beetroot powder dye. I'm going to be doing this for about an hour today. Shanna and Hazy. Never miss finds. Hey. Hey, Kat. So I'm pretending this is Friday today. So please forgive me if I say Friday and I have to correct myself. Thank you for not judging me because I get kind of like in a little routine of hanging out with you guys on Fridays, but it's not Friday. Oh, wow. You're fast going to the post office already. I'm using a new little rack, and there's I don't know if you guys can see the little round holes on here. If I need to adjust the view, I will. I will show you that in a second. Okay, I think you guys could see, right? Yes, drive careful. I'm excited. So I popped into the show hosted by Never Miss Finds earlier, and I got, I think they're called charms. Got a Sagittarius one for me and a Taurus one for my daughter. I'm so excited. I love finding fun treasures. You wish it was your Saturday. Oh. Is your Saturday like the Saturday? Hey, Boxer. Want to dye some paper with us? And I just want to say a little hi and a shout out to everybody watching on the multicast on other platforms. If I don't get to respond to your comments now, I can do that later. We are streaming live on Whatnot, so you can watch us where you're watching us, or you can come over here and join us. Nothing's gonna work. Yep. Yeah. I get to go have my not really my first salon facial for my daughter. I'm her model twice. This is the first time I'm doing it at the school, and then I get to do it one more time after this. So I get to go do that tomorrow, so I won't get to hang out with you all. I'll be wishing you happy Friday from a distance. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. And she does eyelash tinting too, so I'm curious to try that. But I'm super excited to get the first salon facial from her. She's doing so good. Who are we going to hang out today? What's everybody working on right now? Like, do you have a project that you love and that inspires you that you just love working on it? Like, what are you guys working on right now? I would love to hear about that. Nothing right now. Is there something? Hey, cleaner junkies. Oh, I bet you're a dog person. Hello from a fellow dog person. Is there anything that inspires you? Like, if you see something like, fun paper or stamps or charms that just inspires you to want to create something with it? Like, what really sparks your inspiration? Yay! Creative curiosities. Now it's a party. Absolutely a dog person. Aww. My super good friend, we call each other sisters. She has two wiener dogs, Raven and Charlie. And when Raven and Charlie used to go stay at their grandparents' house, they would get homemade oatmeal every morning for breakfast. Spray painted metal flowers and stem today. Oh, that's cool. I see you have some flip the table shows coming up. What do you usually do in those? I don't think I've been able to catch you on one of those yet. Hey, Stormington. Ooh, garden decor. I love that. Especially like if it's a flower garden decor, that interests me a lot because I like to have plants, but I'm not super like if some of the ones that need to be taken care of and watered regularly, like my poor mint plant is gone. So a little metal flower would be great. Symbolism, like, hey, at least there's something. The succulents love to be ignored, so they're doing great. What you doing? I am. Hey, Eric. I'm dyeing paper with blueberry dye that I made right now, which is basically boiled blueberry juice. But I'm dyeing paper for paper crafts, anything. I'm working on the rainbow. So this is blue. I have some blueberry dye. I'm going to finish off some of this, and then we're going to make some beetroot powder juice, beetroot powder dye, and we're going to make some red paper. Ooh, I can show you guys. Kelly, I know you saw yesterday too. I think you saw that too, but that was a lot of fun. It's kind of impromptu. Because yesterday I did some flour pounding, which was great. I think it's great. But I love this better. So this was some of the beetroot powder paper. I'm trying to look and see if you guys can see it, but I got some blueberry on it. This is one of those yellow papers that I was doing the blueberry test on last time. Beets. I'm going to be making some of my own stencils and dyeing on that. This was with extra beet powder, the beet juice. And something about this, like, I don't have any of these in my bin right now because I like to test and make sure that I know what I'm sending out. And this is sticky. I don't have a problem telling people of that. It's not color fast, just like all the other papers dyed. But I just want to make super sure that it's completely dry and nothing forms that we don't want to form. But in about a week or two, I'll be offering packs of this as well. I like how it can be dark red too. What do you guys think of that? Isn't it pretty? I like it. This is a lot of fun. I'm excited to make the rainbow of colors in all of these papers and then different variations. Also, I've got some designs and things that I would love to print on them. Shout out to Fei Fei for that idea. If you're not following Fei Fei one, you're doing yourself a disservice. A lot of people too, but that's one of the people that I like to shout out because she really inspires me. And also Creative Curiosities. I've got a whole list. I should do every 5 minutes a shout out. No, it's definitely not color fast because then if you add more water to any of these, in fact, that makes me think I want to make sure I put a disclaimer in the papers. Because if you try to, like, let's say watercolor paint on this, I think it'll be fine. In fact, we can even do a test. But I know that the water will lift it. Because if I add more water to this, like when it gets stuck to a pan, then with the blueberry or the coffee, then the color is less bold, I guess. I'm losing my words right now, but it just kind of waters it down. So that's something good to know, something I really want to add in all my packs. And then I think it might be a good idea to do a bunch of different scans and maybe offer some more color fast ones for people who want papers they can create with. And it might be even easier to print too if it's flat because I don't know how the crunchy papers are going to print, but I'm going to try it. You didn't want to help on the flower, but mine don't have to be watered. I know. Take my money. I'm not bad with plants, but like I gotta be mindful. Like it's not magic. It takes work. But then I've been super into the paper and things. And my poor little mint plant, like as we know, they need to be watered. You know, right? And so it's like, well, it's ready for the you know, the witches of whatnot Christmas in July. It's completely done. It's totally fine. You sprinkle it with water and dab away. It picks up some of the color like an oxide ink. I think so. Let's try it because these are test pages. Should we try it and see? Um, I'll put a cookie sheet under it and let's try with the water. I'm going to try to not forget that I have papers in them. I've been really good about not forgetting. Okay, so let's use this hotel pan. I don't know if you guys can see. I might have to hold it up. Let's just do this. Nope, that's what. I'll hold it up for you guys so you guys can see better. Sprinkle it with water and dab it away. Picks up some of the color like an oxide ink. So let's try that. We'll sprinkle it with a little bit of water. I will use the same cup I'm going to use for the beetroot powder. And then let's try this. I'm excited. I'm going to be making my own. Hey, Beanies. Beanies Bundle. And the Sun Sisters. I will start making backgrounds that, because on my other device, I don't see the stream. I see the thumbnail for the show. I need to really do a background that's easier for me to see the comments because I have to scroll and squint, and it's not just my eyes. Okay, so let's put a little bit of water in here. Let's try that. I don't know if anybody paints or watches painting videos or knows anybody who paints. Apparently there was some water in that pan anyways. But I've seen these little papers that you can get in almost like the watercolor papers. I don't know if any of you were like, remember like the paint with water where it would have like the little watercolors on the paper that you just add water and it totally spreads the color. This is kind of what that reminds me of. Oh, and we are getting blueberry juice everywhere. So let's try. There's a little drop here. So let's sprinkle it with water. And if you want to know if it picks up the color, see, if I have like a paintbrush or something, I could use that to paint with. I could change it. I could actually, if I did a thick one, you could take a paintbrush and either paint a design or just do something abstract. And I think it would pick up some of the color from that too. I do that with some of the black art pieces I did. I'll just paint it all black and then I'll just wet where I want to lift the paint and then dab it with a towel. So this looks like that could be that too. Because this is the beetroot juice. And then if we dab this away, it's still there, but it's actually not as thick. So I guess it looks like the color may have soaked through. It's just taking the sticky layer up off the top, which is interesting. Because if somebody wants, let's say, lighter papers, I bet you could soak water and get the dye off of this paper and make pink papers out of this. I don't know. That just seems like it's a very interesting experiment to try. And let me know if that answers your questions or you'd like to see something else. Hey, Husker. Stormy. I just think that's fascinating. I like trying stuff like that. Thank you for adventuring along with me, you guys. It's fascinating. But I know some people, like Feifei, prints on the dyed papers. But I don't know if people print on the super thick dyed papers. Because what I'm thinking is if I have a few blueberry pages where they're kind of like the blue is thicker on it. And it might be a little gooey. Those ones might get caught in a printer. But the ones that aren't sticky, I would try. Like these ones, I would definitely try. because there's some pictures that could be printed on there. I was thinking of some Creative Commons images for the Christmas in July for with the witches of whatnot to be printing on some of those. That might be something fun to have in the shop. Cheeky Turtle resale, welcome! Thanks everybody for hanging out. As you know, I have things in the bin. I've got some blueberry dyed paper. I won't be having the beetroot paper. I do want to know a little bit more about it before I offer it for sale. I mean, I'm sure these ones are fine. The other ones that are kind of thicker, maybe it's I just want to experiment a little bit with it, so at least you know what you're getting. I feel better about that. I like this one. It's interesting. Carlos wants this one. Hey, Kim. Oh, this one's that paper. But I mean, I like this. I like being able to make red paper, and that gives me one closer to actually dyeing a whole rainbow of papers. All right. And I know there's quicker ways to do this, but I don't want all of my blueberry pages brown. So I do bake them, sometimes double layer on the baking sheets, but I do bake these in the oven. And I don't do the foil on the whole layer method with the blueberry because I want them to be nice and bright blue. So I'll probably, actually, what I'm going to do now is dip a few pages and let them sit over here just by themselves, just chilling. And then they can just dry and look a whole different shade of blue. I like to get all my blueberry or all my papers just to look different so they don't all look the same. And that involves like baking some a little bit longer, some a little bit less long, and some just completely air drying. I'm interested to try the dehydrator. I think that would be fun. So the beets is what we're doing today here in a minute. Let me just lay out these blueberry papers and we will make that. And then coming up, not today, a different day, we'll do parsley for green. Be sure to bookmark my upcoming shows. I have dyeing with tea next week. We're not going to be using brown tea or black tea. We're going to be using a mixture of a passion tea, and it gets really a dark, not dark, but a bluish, I don't know, a different shade of blue than the blueberries. How about that? Because I've done that before and I really like the look. It can be a little bit grungy, but it doesn't have to be. Like as is, it's kind of grungy, but as you know, all hand dyed papers have those fun colors and sometimes texture looking things on them. So, yeah. I do have the blueberry papers have been the most popular, so I do have the most of those in the bin. So grab yours while you can. I will be dyeing some more coffee papers here in the next couple weeks. Coffee's like my favorite thing. Oh, I wouldn't think so. I have a coffee over there that's I'm not drinking. So I'm just doing all this stuff. And my microwave, like, it speeds up time. Yesterday it was on, now it's like 10 minutes fast. It's weird. So I need to fix it. Hey, Carrie. Making a mess. Want to join me? Let's check out the bin for papers. I've also got some of those dangle cluster hang tags. And you can add some eyelets and charms to your creations. I love making those. I want to show you something I'm working on now. It's a little something, but I'm super proud of it. It just looks nice. But I'm not gonna, because I'm gonna get blueberry and beet all over it. I'll have to show you guys next time. It's a journal, of course. I love journals. Take a minute, if you will, and bookmark my upcoming shows. I've got my very first train I will be participating in is next month. It is the Waste Not Wednesday train with the Suburban Bish, one of my favorite people. I love it because it really hits home for me. I like reusing, repurposing, thrifting. and just saving things from going to the landfill. Like all of this paper you see today is actually repurposed from the thrift store. They have it super cheap. They've got, I find the white paper all the time. I find like ledger paper. I have packs of this in my store in the bin, so grab them while you can. Just random packs of just different papers. And this is what I like to make my notebooks out of, just my plain notebooks. I love them. And I love seeing the different colors of what the papers do with the different dyes. So grab those in the bin because there's only so much. And take a look. I've got that train coming up in July. I've also got the Witches of Whatnot Christmas in July. I'm looking forward to that one because I get to create things that I really love and want to learn to create. Something just a little bit different. It's going to be Nightmare Before Christmas, Krampus, everything the darker side of Christmas, and I am here for it. I cannot wait to show you in the upcoming weeks when I make stuff for it. I want to create stuff like in live shows with you guys, just hanging out. I've been doing live shows at night for me, which I like because it's quieter, and then not only multicast, but we can also grab that video to share around because I've got people in other places that like to see that kind of stuff too. So I go live day, night. I just don't go live super early for me. Tweets! We're dyeing paper. Want to dye some paper with us? Oh, we're dusting the kitchen. It is fun. It's messy, but it's worth it. Some things you do the math. It's like, yeah, it's not worth it. This is totally worth it. Today we're using beetroot powder. We're getting red paper. We're doing red paper. And I'm going to dye a little bit before I have to head out in about, no later than 45 minutes. Actually, I did this a little bit weird today. This is not how I did this yesterday. So we're going to make an adjustment. There's no undo button. So we're moving forward. All right. Okay, so I'll do this. What kind of mess did I make in there? Oh, that's not too bad. We're not going to waste this. Always Best Buys. Hey, Jockin. You want to watch me make a mess? We were going to dye paper. We still are, but we're pivoting because I fucked up. Sweet. This kind of gets really gelatinous, so I don't want to let the powder get into the bowl. And I'm using beetroot powder because that's what I have. Fresh beets is on the menu, if you will, to try with paper dyeing. Just not today. And so if I had left this in there, it would be okay, but there might be some like unwanted clumps or some residue on there. There is a little bit of residue on there as it is, but I don't want that on there. And that's one of the reasons that I don't have any beet paper, any red paper in my bin right now, but I will. Because I gotta, test it for you and as much as possible, let you know what you're getting. But part of it is an experiment for you too. Especially if you do things with it that I don't do. I'm not going to know. But you're going to know. I'm going to try to let you know everything I know so you know what you're getting. Because I know I'm excited to craft with it. Make my own stencil with it. And let me get this going and let it steep for a second. And then I will show those of you who are just coming in what the red looks like. So let's see. I'm not really measuring. I will at some point. I'm sure. No, I won't. I want it to be really, really red. Like for real red. I'm not going for pink. So I have, this is like a liquid cup, but I have about that much. And I'm going to add some water. Can you see it? There you go. My second device does not show the stream. Crazy Funko. Hey, thanks for stopping in. So we're going to stir this up. I'm going to unclump it a little bit. And then after that, hey guys, welcome in. We're dyeing paper with beetroot powder because that's what I have because I want to make red dyed paper. I've got blueberry paper in the bin. I might have some coffee paper left. You'll have to check. I do have other things in the bin. Definitely check it out. My hands are tied, so no options right now. That could change. But I'm going to let this just sit for a minute. It looks kind of thick, and it is kind of not really lumpy, but it is on the thicker side. So I'm going to actually add a little more water and let it sit for a minute, and then I'm going to strain it through some more cheesecloth. And we're going to see how red it gets. This is my second time trying this, so thank you for going on this adventure with me. Did you know who here likes to dye their own paper if you like paper or paper crafts? Did you know you can use stencils? You can absolutely use stencils. This is the beetroot paper from yesterday. I dipped the paper and then I spooned or drizzled or poured some more on, and it just kind of, I poured some more on over here, and then it kind of found its way to the edges of the paper. I think that looks really cool. I've got somebody who wants dibs on that. This is another piece. This is just dipped and baked, and this just kind of happened. This was originally a yellow lined piece of paper. I like how that looks. It kind of looks like almost like sunsetty. Like, you know, if you're reading like a fantasy novel or something, how the sky turned all shades of yellow and red and orange. I know real sunsets do that here in the Mortal Realm, but I see more blues and purples. That was baked. This was baked. And this was also air dried like the stencil one with some more just poured on top of it. It looks way different than when I first did it. So that was a lot of fun. So definitely if you're just stopping in and this is our first time seeing each other, I would love a follow. I'd love to follow you back after the show is done. And bookmark my upcoming shows. Got some fun stuff coming up. Thanks for the follow, Wiener Junkies. Daisy! Making a mess. That's what I'm doing today. Guys, where did I put my cheesecloth? I just had it. Here it is. And my coffee. Anybody else have some neglected coffee? Let's take a sip. Miss Pops. Oh, hello, darling, she says. I'm going to open new cheesecloth. I messed up earlier. What's everybody working on today? Or what do you want to work on after you're done doing everything? Are there any creative projects that you're loving right now and you just can't wait to get your paws on? Tell me while I look for scissors. Okay, you guys gotta watch me struggle because I can't find the scissors that work best for my fabric. I understand now why my mom always put up such a fuss when she caught me using my scissors paper. Because as you know, if you don't have your fabric scissors sharp, they're not going to work very well. I like a good organized environment. I mean, you wouldn't think this. You wouldn't think so if you saw the office and the studio area, but I do. I like my I like my organization. What do you think you'll work on tomorrow? Every day that I create in the studio or in Middle Earth, or in the studio in Middle Earth, or in my office, it's like I make a mess, clean it up, and reorganize, and then do it again, and then repeat. Setting up for a show tonight, and then oh, so 9 p.m. and that's 6 p.m. my time. I will be probably at dinner with the husband if you have it on, if you have your past shows on, I'll go watch it. Ooh, steampunk is fascinating. I'm gonna bookmark that. Friends, take a minute and you can bookmark shows from Daisy's Darlings, Creative Curiosities, very inspiring, amazing people in the community. Good Deal Looker. Hello. We're going to work on some clusters. Ooh, clusters are fun. I added. Oh, I think I showed some in the group text or the group message. I made some really improving my confidence and presentation on my handmade products. Because pretty much, if things aren't, if I don't have thrifted or things available after repurposing like fabric or materials, pretty much everything I have, other than all that stuff, is handmade, and yeah, I'm showcasing it in a way it deserves. And this takes a minute to strain. I know that when I do the fresh beets, I don't think this will happen. We'll just have the big lumps of beetroot. Okay. There's that. We're gonna let that strain for a minute. You see that glob? We're gonna let that chill right there. No, we're gonna let that chill right there because it needs to be more stable. It just looks good. Hey, Crystal. Oh, the grass. Yeah. Ooh, send me some grass. I'll try to dye some paper green with it. I want to drink it. It is not a bad addition to smoothies for sure. I know I was having one every day for a while. She has the giggles today. Oh, you grow beets too. I mean, two meaning you also grow beets in addition to your flowers. I do not grow beets. Isn't it? Did I show you the papers that came out yesterday? because the flower pounding was fun. I'd probably do that again. I would fill most of like a little page. If this breaks, I'll be a little bummed, but we'll fix it. Ooh, you know what we can do with this? Because there's juice in here. Let's like plop it on some paper. I would actually fill a page or a piece of fabric because that canvas fabric, I like how that turned out. But I would do that with more of those purple flowers. I'm going to move the bowl so we can see it. Let's just see how much of the color comes out because I don't want to waste it all, but we do have some stuff in the bowl. It needs to cool down, so we are going to need a minute to do something else. Right? So, let me see what you guys can see. You can see this one over here, can't you? Plunk. I'm gonna let these ones dry on their own because I want to see what it looks like after. Can you reuse the rest? You know, that's a good question. I gotta say, I didn't yesterday, but it would be a good idea to try because I do like to reuse. That's a good question. I'm gonna save this in the glass measuring cup and try some maybe tomorrow night after I get home. Look at that. So we're going to look at that now, and then let's say I'm transferring that because, well, I hope it doesn't stick to the pan because what's happening is if I have a lot of whatever colorant I'm using, whether it's blueberry dye or coffee dye, oh, it dripped a little bit down. That's cool. It's like art. It is art. It's sticking to the pan. So I do plan on getting some more silicone mats, maybe at the thrift store, because I like dyeing paper. And I do want to air dry some, even when I get the dehydrator completely ready to load up with some paper and try that. I want to air dry some. Just the different colors and things and just the shades. It's just out of this world. I love it. All right, so this one, try to not. Womp womp. Cool. Let's do this and then I'll bake these off. I might lower the temperature because I know I was talking to you guys, which no regrets. I overbaked the blueberry ones last time and they're brown. I like some that are not brown to balance it out though. So. Yeah. I think it's been a while since I've done the blueberry ones. But should we do some music sheets with this? A couple music sheets maybe, and maybe a couple book pages? So I don't think I have those in my paper pile. I have some of the plain one because I'm testing the different colors with just the baking times and times that I do forget, times I don't. Because I do have a couple more music books. Finished off my organ music one, but I have Bruce Springsteen music and Beach Boys. Not that it matters once you create with it. I just think it's pretty cool. Whoops. All right. So I'm going to put this in here and see what happens when it's time to reuse. And this is wet, but it's not quite as saturated as when I dip it. So I'm going to put this one in the oven. The other one's going to go on the kitchen table. I'm glad my family is supportive because there's going to be paper everywhere. I'm lowering the temp to 300. And I'm going to move this and I'll be right back with some music pages and some book pages. If you're trying to stay hydrated, don't forget to drink some water. I say that because I need to drink water. Okay. No, I'm not going to put that over there. So we have some beet powder on the stove, and we also have this. And I'm going to use a few of my favorite pages. This Grimm's Fairy Tales, that would be a great theme for a Witches of Whatnot train too. That and Mad Max. But these papers have almost a little bit of a coating on it, it feels like. So I like to paint on these with watercolor, glue these into my sketchbook, but let's dye a couple of these. And I say only a couple because these are my favorite ones to paint on. And until I find a book that has this covering, maybe I don't want to use them all up. Okay, we'll do 4. We'll do 4. And I gotta find that. I gotta go back to the thrift store that had the music sheets because they have these whole books. Whole books. Okay. Do some of that too. What time is it? How about we dye Blinded by the Light? There's Thunder Road. We can just keep doing Blinded by the Light. I like music sheets. Those are fun to create with, but if you like paper, you already know. Okay. This one's already partial. We can do this one with beets too. It's got some blueberry on it. I'm getting my tax write-off tomorrow anyways, but I'm still putting gloves on because I don't want red everything. Okay, so already one piece of paper in here. Lighter color. So there's that. Not bad. This is hot, so we're gonna let it cool. So this is how much it made. It's very, very, very strong in color. I could probably add some water to it like I did yesterday, which I probably will do. Let's do it. Anybody have anything fun planned for the weekend? I love creating, but I try to have some time away from paper. Oh, I didn't even prepare my pan. I hope this one turns out nice and red. I do want to finish my project that I'm working on now. I'm practicing even more so with confidence of things that I make on my own, make with my own two hands, make with my own paws, my beat-ridden paws. This is a page from Grimm's Fairy Tales, The Singing Soaring Lark. I'm fascinated by Grimm's Fairy Tales. Thank you for co-creating this safe space with me, so I can even tell you that I do find Grimm's Fairy Tales more fascinating to me than the Disney stories. I still watch Disney. I like it. It's fine. But Grimm's Fairy Tales, I don't know, it just captivates me. There's just something about it. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, I wish I could pull it out and it would look just like that. Can you guys see? That's just that's okay. Part of me just wants to let that air dry because I know how red it's going to turn out to be. Or I can bake it and then drizzle some more. Can you guys even see? Barely. Let me move it over. Check that out. I might just bake it and then re-drizzle. This will be cool to do the thick drizzle on, to just let it air dry. Got all kinds of paper dyeing I want to do in the near future. This was one of them, so I get to cross this off the list. But that doesn't mean I won't be trying to improve it. I'm trying real beats. This is a long-term thing for me. Let's go ahead and stick these in there. Okay. I've got about 10 more minutes, but let's at least get one of these batches done. So at least get this batch done before we call it done for now. And then, yeah. Ideally, I pull these out right when they're just done evaporating off the moisture. Ideally. So I'm going to be dipping some for the air drying, and hopefully it doesn't stick to the pan. I prefer it to be a little more organized, but you know, I'm just going to roll with it. I'm thinking that's probably going to end up sticking, but we're going to try it and see. Because if it does, I can add a little bit of water and then hope for the best. Because this is going to create some of those thick pieces. Thank you guys for hanging out. These experiments are fun. And I hope all goes well for you. For the rest of today. Well, I can't dip the papers if it's on top of the dye. Okay. We're going to be done in about 10 minutes or less. And one thing I did forgot to tell you, I put it on my show picture, but I forgot to say that every day is Customer Appreciation Day here at the Odyssey. Everyone who makes a purchase gets a little extra something from me. Just my way of saying thank you. I have it set up that way so that I can do that. I like making one-of-a-kind original things. Each piece of paper that I dip is different. One-of-a-kind originals for one-of-a-kind original people. How perfect is this? This is about how much room I have on this rack. I want to play with the beets a little bit more, at least the powder, before I start wanting to mix it with like the blueberry and stuff. I will show you here in a minute. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this, I think. See? It's not quite all evaporated, but take a look at that. Can you see? And then the other one, so one side has, I need another dry hot pad to show you. Wait, let me take the other one out first. Oh, no. Just kidding. It's not good. There's a couple bit of moisture spots. Hey, Carlos. On this one. But you see how this one, there's holes in the sheet underneath it. I'll just hold that, I'll show you. See that? So there's white spaces in the middle of the holes on that one. This one, they got darker. See what I mean about each page being one of a kind and different? Playing with more beetroot powder, and this is so much fun. So much fun. I'm about ready to be done. So what I'm doing here is, excuse me. Hey, Loveland. So I'm going to recap from yesterday. Yesterday we did some beetroot dyeing, and this was the one where I dipped the page and then kind of poured or something more on there. This is very thick. These are not color fast. In fact, none of them are. I should probably put that disclaimer in. But if you do get this wet, the red comes off. So even if somebody wanted to use this and paint something, you totally could. You could get this red. When I did this on a test page, Hazy was talking about it. I actually wet the bottom of this page here, and as you can see, it still has the color. So that's cool. This was air dried, extra beet juice. So we're using the beetroot powder. This was some of the baked pages. I do not have any in my bin quite yet. I do want to do a little bit more testing. Baked. And this was the yellow one. The yellow one. Whatever this did here, I'm here for it. It's amazing. Might have been like the glue from the top, the very trace, because you tear it off a pad. Maybe it just curled. I don't know. But that was the stencil. Super fun. I just want to test it because I used the beetroot powder and I stringed it with cheesecloth. There's like a big clump of it. Kelly suggested I tried, or asked me if I had tried using it again. I said no. So I'm going to try it tomorrow. But that's the residual from the powder. It kind of becomes gelatinous. And we did some like blobs that were air drying on the kitchen table. But I haven't tested it. I want to make sure. I want to let these sit out for a week or two and just kind of see what they do. Because the coffee pages and the blueberry pages, I had tried those before a while back, but this is new. Which ones are the ones you showed yesterday? These ones. So this was the one with the stencil. And Carlos, this is the one where you said, let me know when you put that one in the bin. This is what it ended up looking like. And everything in between. That looks like a sunset to me. Hey, Majesty Lisa. So a lot of fun. I just want to test this. I just want to make sure, because I know all the research that I did said as long as all the moisture is evaporated, there should not be a problem with anything growing. But I prefer to test it and see it for myself, because the last thing I want to do is send out a pack and not know. So I'm going to keep testing this beetroot powder paper. I can't wait to share red paper with you all, because I've got blue, I've got the brown. Love the blueberry paper. The coffee paper smells amazing. But this red paper is going to be game changing because I have some stencils I'm making that I want to use this with. Cotton and cane. But I love the varying colors. I love how each page is so different. Even if I use the same papers, this is probably gonna fall. It turns out different. Like each one is one of a kind. I do like to make unique one of a kind things. So this paper is very fitting. I like to make unique one of a kind things for unique one of a kind people like you. So be on the lookout in the bin. In the bin, I do still have some blueberry papers left. I may still have some coffee. Get them while you can. Coffee. I'm working on getting more blueberry, and the beetroot, the red paper is coming soon. So keep an eye out in the bin. Snag what you can in the bin right now. And I'm going to be letting these air dry. So they'll be nice and thick and maybe even a little sticky. So maybe the first couple packs I send out, if there's pages like this and they're all together in the pack, I would love to hear how, when the time comes, how you unpackage them, if they're too sticky or what. So I might even have to do a test pack. I'm gonna let those air dry. I'm gonna let these air dry, see how dark they get. And I'm loving it. I'm super happy with how these turned out, right? I've got some blueberry paper over here air drying, and it's a lot of fun. Next week, we're going to be doing some tea dyeing. Take a minute and bookmark the upcoming shows. I've got quite a few. Um, but the paper dyeing is a lot of fun. People like seeing it. So we will have an update on the beetroot powder, on the beet paper next week during the tea dyeing. We'll update that. I'll try to have a stack handy so you can see it. Yeah, I love it. It's a lot of fun. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I had so much fun with you today. So much fun with you today. And I appreciate you coming in. And let me know if you have any questions. And if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to reach out with me with questions. If you're watching this on the multicast, I welcome your comments, your questions, your feedback, your excitement. Yeah, just let me know. I just thank you for your trust and for your time today. And I hope the rest of your day and your week is awesome. I won't see you tomorrow. Usually I do a show at 10 a.m. Pacific on Fridays, but tomorrow I won't be doing that. So I'll miss you guys tomorrow, but I will see you guys next week and next Friday. Shall we raid? Put your seatbelts on. Let's go.